Welcome back. Let's just jump in. Got the Cancerian Oracle deck again. I love this deck so much. I love how clear and straightforward the messages are. I like the imagery. Anyway, I'm a Cancerian myself, so I love the messages and the imagery and the water. So beautiful deck. All right, let's just see what wants to come through as always. What's the general message? 3 cards, please. Oops. Oh, okay. Do more of what you love. I think that one came out in the last reading. There was another one. Make the best of the situation. Whoa, okay. This one flipped. It says, celebrate, job well done, recognition, say yes. Okay, I'm gonna move this one all the way. I want 3. Okay, what am I seeing? What's happening? I know the last reading, I think it was very affirmative. It kind of felt disciplinary, spirit was really disciplinary in their words, because you're not listening to your heart. And that might be in this message. I'm really looking at this heart here. So I was just saying, the last reading, it seemed like it was really assertive. I don't know if assertive, but really stern. Thank you. Stern is the word. And I feel like there's a little bit of that in this message, not so much, but I feel like there is something here where you're really being encouraged to listen to your heart in some matter, something that you're really being encouraged to listen to your heart about something, where I think normally you would have been a lot more logical, but you're being asked to really look at something and really listen to what's in your heart about it. So more of an emotional response. Celebrate, job well done, recognition, say yes. Something could have happened or occurred, or an event took place or something where it was maybe you were up against the clock, you were rushed, it was last minute, and you pulled all the strings, you pulled all the everything out of the hat. You pulled all your resources together and you did the best that you could out of the situation. It was a lot, say there was something that occurred, it was a last minute thing, and it took immense amount of focus and planning and effort to really make it the best and really turn it around. And I think that the outcome of it is something that is actually turning out to be really, really good. There's going to be a lot of recognition out of it. So that's one message. It's a very small message for me when I'm looking at these. But I do think that another message coming out of this is, between do more what you love and the lemonade card, is there's something that you really want to do. And I think that you're not doing it enough, and it's not because you can't, it's because you feel like you can't. And I think that there's something you're allowing to get in the way of you doing this said thing, whatever this thing is. And it's feeling like it might be holding you back. But what the message is here for you is that you are really being encouraged to listen to your heart and do more of that thing. You might feel like you can't do it, but if you are in a state, in a place in your life where you know you can create the time and have the energy and the focus to do something that you really want to do, even if your obligations take up a lot more of your time, you're really being encouraged to do that. So if it's like, say on the weekends, every weekend you go out of town, you travel, you go camping, or you go hiking, you like to go snowboarding in the winter, you like to go, boating in the summer. Every weekend you like to go do something. It doesn't have to be big, but you're always filling your weekends with time to explore and have fun, and that's great. But say during your week, you're really busy, you don't have a whole lot of time to do something for you because you're working, or majority of your work is taking up all of your day, you have other commitments, and like non-negotiable commitments and stuff. So I feel like your weekends are the time when you have the flexibility to do more of something that you love, more of something that really sparks joy, something that is like really in your heart. But you're devoting a lot of time and energy to these other things on the weekend. And it's not opening up your capacity to do what's really on your heart. So say with this card, the lemonade card, make the best of the situation. I don't feel like there's a crummy situation here. I don't feel like it's anything terrible or toxic or crummy or disheartening. I just feel like you might be really busy. Your energy might be scattered or really put in a lot of different places. And so your time and energy might be, might be not as abundant when it comes to wanting to do other fun things. Because what you've got going on the weekends are like your mind's already planned out to do something on the weekend. You've already said, I'm already committed, and you may not always know what that is, but I'm already committed to doing this thing on the weekend because I always do it, and that's what brings me joy. Experiences are amazing. Trips are amazing. Community, family and friends and connection is amazing. But if you're not already like doing something you love and building yourself up in these ways, and you know that you want it, at some point you have to have a trade-off with yourself about what is really, my throat is like tightening up. You have to have a trade-off with yourself and like, oh my goodness, my throat is like really tight. You might have a hard time speaking, or excuse me, I just had to take a drink of water. You might have trouble speaking right now, or maybe you have a hard time talking about something that you really want to do. But I think you might feel like you are not ready to make those trade-offs. Like, in order to pursue something, if you don't feel like you have the time because you're dedicated and committed to so many other things going on, at some point, in order to do something you really want, you have to make a trade-off. Because when people are like, I don't have the time, it's not that you don't have the time, you have to make the time. And in order to make the time, you have to make the space. That might be giving something up temporarily for a certain amount of time in order to pursue doing this other thing. It's almost like, say you are trying to pay off like a credit card or a loan. You have like a car loan or whatever, and you're like, hey, I really want to pay this loan off by this date. And that might mean I'm not paying, that's not the end date, the payoff, that's not the payoff date. That's that's me paying extra to it, which means I have to pay this much more. In order to pay this much more, what's my budget? Where's my money going? maybe you have subscriptions to like 3 different streaming platforms and they're all $20 a piece. Well, save $40 over here when you cancel 2 subscriptions and you maybe keep one. There's certain things that you have to do in order to meet that goal, and it's not forever, it's just in the temporary. So there's something here around you needing to do more of what you love, and I'm getting this really strong message that there is something, you're not allowing yourself to do it because you're not making the time for it, but you have to make the best of the situation. Like, you're not in a bad place, but at some point you're going to have a trade-off in order to pursue more of this. But I think what you're not seeing is that by doing so, you're not going to miss out on, like, it might feel like you're missing out on things. It might feel like you're, FOMO, fear of missing out. But in the long run, you're going to be really celebrated for something that you're doing and doing really, really well if you can really just focus on it and dedicate the time to it. It could be like you want to start a business. It could be you want to, maybe starting a business and it means you have to sit down and do some research. Maybe you want to get into singing and you need to do lessons and you don't have time during your day, in your week, because you already got other things going on. So the weekend's the only time. Maybe a random example that just came through is maybe you want to be a yoga instructor, and in order to do the yoga training, maybe it's like a weekend thing, right? Because not everybody is available every single day. Maybe it's a weekend course and you have to go to the studio and do the training, like, 2 days out of the week, and every weekend you're going to be doing that for like 3 to 6 months, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. And so it means giving up those trips and those experiences on the weekends for a time while you're working towards this goal. So there's something here where you're like, you really want to do something. You really want to explore and try something new. Your heart is like telling you to do something. And your situation is like, it's not, like I said, it's not crummy, but it's like, what can you do to make the most of the situation? You can make the time to do it, but it does mean that you have to give up something in the interim. You have to give something up for a little bit in order to meet that goal or hit that goal. And the end of it is this celebrated card. Like, it is worth celebrating. It's going to be really good, really rewarding at the end of it. And it will always be rewarding at the end of it, but you got to give yourself the time to do it. A little message that just came up was if this is you might think that you are not good enough to do this thing that you are really, like, your heart is really wanting to do. And so you're not making the time for it because you feel like you're not good enough for it. I don't think that's for everybody. I think that's for like some of you, but you'd be really, really surprised at how recognized you will be and celebrated for just doing more of what you love, for doing something you really want to, explore, try. And it might be that if there's something like, say, like, oh, yoga instructor, like, you've always been interested in being a yoga instructor, and maybe you've taken yoga classes, but you don't really know that you'd ever be a good instructor because, like, maybe you're afraid of public speaking and speaking to a class, or like, maybe you think you would never be able to teach a flow, like, whatever. But that's just what you think. That doesn't necessarily mean that you are. And anything that someone's good at, it could be that you have a natural talent for it. But a lot of times people are good at things because they've practiced it for so long. Some people have a natural gift, like of, public speaking, so that just comes naturally. But still, learning how to teach a flow, say in yoga, does take practice and does take time. And in order to do it and do it well, you've got to practice it. That goes for anything. Like, say singing. If you wanted to sing, you might have an amazing voice, but that doesn't mean that you really know how to always use it. How to, I don't know. Maybe you don't know how to always use it. Maybe there's certain techniques that allow you to sing more effortlessly, without trying so hard. I don't know. But there could be that like you're really naturally gifted and talented at something, but you might not necessarily know how to do something in its entirety really well, just because you haven't practiced and you haven't given yourself the opportunity to learn and to do. So maybe you're interested in art and you want to paint, and you have never painted in your life, and you have all these beautiful ideas in your head, but you're like, I've never painted and I don't know how to paint. Well, you're not going to know whether you're good at it or not. And you could be a natural, artist who knows how to really create something really amazing and unique that is like your own beautiful art, obviously, but you don't know how to really utilize your skills the best because you haven't learned those techniques and practiced them, right? But you could be naturally gifted at art and like painting. So there's like something there that you feel like you may not be good enough for it, but you haven't given yourself the opportunity to see. And there's something here about needing to make a trade-off. If you want to follow your heart, you have to give something up for a time. And that's okay, because it's never going to go away. Like, you can always go back to doing these fun trips on the weekends, for example. Or maybe your evenings are always filled, like you're always with friends, or you're always going out and having fun or whatever. And maybe it means pulling back and saying, okay, I'm not going to do those things for time while I focus on this. And even if everyone's like missing me and making me feel really guilty, it's okay. I know that I am pursuing this for me. And at the end of this, it's going to be a really exciting time. Just need to make the most of the situation for the time that I'm like focused on it. Yeah. So there's like a few messages in there of like confirmation, reassurance. Really, really encouraged here to follow your heart, but you have to make the time for it, and you have to have those trade-offs. Nothing really good and amazing in this life comes easy, especially when it comes from you, from your heart space. It takes everything in you to pour into your dreams and to pour into, what it is that you want to create in this world. And it means being vulnerable, but like in the end of doing all that, you're celebrated, you're rewarded for everything that you could ever have been in the moments that you were trying and you were really putting your best foot forward. Like, you're rewarded for showing up and being the best version of you, and the most expressive too. So I'm going to leave it there. I think that this is just Spirit's way of saying, if you really want this thing and you keep thinking about it, and there's something you want to try, something you want to explore, maybe you think you could be really amazing, but you just aren't giving yourself the time to do it. This is Spirit's way of saying, you want to do more of that, you want to follow your heart and follow your dreams, then you have got to have some trade-offs, and you've got to give something up, or really prioritize this a little bit in order to make space for it, because it's going to be really rewarding here at the end, whatever the end is, right? Whatever the goal is, before the next. So I also encourage you to do the same. Everybody needs to make space and make time for the things that they want in life. And to be good at anything, you have to be dedicated. So I'm going to leave that message there. I hope that resonated, probably as, guidance or confirmation for those who are looking for it. I hope that you enjoyed this message. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, if it resonated. And subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything in the future. And until next time, thanks for watching, guys.